This is the chilling moment when 4 men were captured on CCTV carrying a drunk and allegedly drugged woman out of a bar before she was reportedly gang raped and murdered. Nong Gift, 21, had been watching the European Cup final with friends in May 2018 in Chanthaburi, Thailand, when she consumed too much alcohol. Her family later claimed she had been drugged. She passed out inside the bar, and around 2 a.m., 4 men carried her outside and placed her in the back of a pickup truck, telling others that they would take her home. However, instead of taking her home, the men, one of whom knew her and was considered a friend by Nong, drove her to a secluded fruit warehouse. There, she was repeatedly raped and allegedly beaten to death. The next morning, someone found her body. The 4 men, Natafong Sangkraud, 24, Patty Boonthal, 23, Panya Chan Somdi, 18, and Suitsit Jachim, 24, reportedly confessed to the crime and were taken to the crime scene for a reenactment. Chilling CCTV footage showed Nong, a cosmetics seller, being carried unconscious from the bar by the 4 men, with no one stopping them. Another woman who was seen assisting the men told the police that she was not with the gang, but had merely stepped in to help the unconscious woman and had been told that the victim was an acquaintance of one of the men. Local police arrested the 4 men, and they confessed to their roles in the crime. According to police reports, the condition of Nong's body was that she had foam at the mouth, a nosebleed, and multiple bruises on her body. At the scene, 2 condoms were found in the storage room of the fruit warehouse. Police also noted that in the CCTV footage, Nong was wearing a black spaghetti strap top, but when she was found dead at the crime scene, she was wearing a black t-shirt. This suggests that someone must have changed her clothes. Another friend who had been with Nong earlier that evening expressed her sorrow, saying, "I'm sorry. If I had known it was our last night together, I would have taken better care of you. I'm sorry I did not take care of you better." Nong had been watching the match with 3 other women, but was only close with one of them, Erziz Opachat. The women left earlier in the evening, and Erziz mentioned that when she left the bar, Nong didn't seem very drunk. She also said that Nong already knew one of the men and had been friendly with everyone, so it didn't seem unusual for her to be socializing with the group. "I thought she had arrived with them and was friends with them," Erziz added. Erziz described Nong as a lovely person and shared that she had sent Nong messages on Facebook before she disappeared. She added that their group often left the bar separately when they went out together. Nong's body was discovered later in the early hours of Sunday, May 27th, in a processing area of the fruit warehouse. Using CCTV footage, the police quickly tracked down and arrested the 4 men within hours. During the crime reenactment, the men were shown at the bar, loading Nong into the truck and then taking her to the fruit warehouse where the assault occurred. One of the men, the one who personally knew Nong, claimed he only drove her and the others to the scene and denied further involvement in the crime. Strangely, Nong's family said in an interview that they suspected something deeper in Nong's murder after police found that her bank account contained millions of baht, despite her modest salary of just 10,000 baht, approximately $310 per month. The family's lawyer, Songkran Achariyasap, said in the interview, "We wonder who was the person who transferred the money and who she withdrew the money for. Did she happen to know more than she should have, so that someone had to get rid of her? Her brother and grandmother want to know the truth." To this day, it is not known where the money came from. The girl on the left is Bea Claire Mori, 15, and the person on the right is Rahman Panondi, 22. Tragically, a few hours after these photos were posted on Facebook, Rahman, who is a gay man, murdered Bea out of jealousy. After Rahman murdered Bea, he attempted to mislead people by pretending to be concerned about Bea's whereabouts. He posted this on his Facebook, which translated as, "Advice to anyone who has seen her. She was last seen in CBR with a man we don't know. Please inform the friends tagged in this post as we are extremely worried. She hasn't returned, hasn't been active on Facebook, and hasn't contacted us. I fear she may have been kidnapped. Please contact those tagged here." A day before that, on June 7th, he also posted this on his Facebook saying, Byung, where are you? Please, Byung, show up now. You have been missing for 24 hours, Byung. On June 8, 2020, around 5 p.m., a man visiting a departed relative at Cabad Baran City Cemetery in Agusan del Norte discovered Bea's body. According to the man, as he was lighting a candle, he found her lying lifeless on the cement ground next to his relative's tomb. The police arrived at the scene. They noticed that Bea had been stabbed twice in the stomach, and her face was covered with a gray jacket. Upon removing the jacket, they found that her throat had been slashed, which they believed was the cause of death. No personal belongings were found at the scene, so initially the police could not identify her. While investigating the scene, Bea's friends, including Rahman, arrived after being informed by another friend that a woman's body had been found in the cemetery. They introduced themselves to the police and asked to identify the body. Bea's friends explained that she had been missing for 2 days, and indeed the dead woman was Bea. Following the discovery of Bea's body, Rahman made another post on Facebook, writing, "R.I.P. Byung, why? Why did they do this to you, Byung? It's painful to accept that you're gone. I miss your craziness. Above all, we will never forget you. We love you so much, Byung. I hope you're happy wherever you are now. I love you, Bea Claire Mori." Rahman told the police that Bea did not return to their boarding house on the evening of June 6th. Bea, whose school was far from her hometown, lived in a boarding house, where Rahman was also staying as her boardmate. The next day, on June 7th, Rahman sent a message to Bea's mother, informing her that Bea had not returned. Bea's family, who lived in another city, tried contacting her, but received no response, until they received the devastating news of her death. Rahman admitted to the police that he was the last person to see Bea. He claimed that around 6 p.m. on June 6th, someone had picked her up outside their boarding house, and that was the last time he saw her. During the investigation, a friend of Bea's named Samantha shared some critical information with the police. She revealed that Rahman had told their group to say specific things if questioned by the authorities. He instructed them to claim that Bea didn't have a permanent address, that she often moved around, and wasn't the type to stay in one place. Behavior completely contrary to Bea's actual lifestyle. When asked if Bea had a boyfriend, Samantha said no. However, she added that Rahman's boyfriend George, who is the same age as Bea, had once confessed to Bea that he liked her. Samantha also mentioned that Bea had told Rahman about it and reassured him that she wasn't interested in George. Later, George himself confirmed to the police that he and Rahman had an argument on June 6th, the day Bea disappeared. The fight had been triggered by Rahman discovering that George had confessed his feelings to Bea, which enraged Rahman with jealousy. The police began to suspect Rahman due to the many inconsistencies in his statements. According to them, Rahman continually disrupted the investigation by suggesting multiple names of people Bea might have been with. Authorities reviewed CCTV footage from around the boarding house. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on June 6th, no one was seen picking up Bea. When confronted with this information, the police asked Rahman where he had been on that evening and whether he had killed Bea. Rahman broke down in tears and voluntarily confessed. Overwhelmed by guilt, he admitted that he had killed her out of jealousy. Rahman said to the police that he told Bea to go to the cemetery because someone wanted to meet her there. Once Bea arrived at the cemetery, Rahman showed up and confronted her about George. According to Rahman, he and Bea started arguing. Overcome with jealousy and anger, he murdered his own friend. Afterward, Rahman returned to the boarding house and pretended to be concerned for Bea. After his confession, Rahman was arrested and charged with Bea's murder. Anel Baez and Erandi Gutierrez were two 16-year-old girls from Mexico who were inseparable. They attended school together, cared deeply for each other, and shared a close friendship. However, their bond ended tragically when Gutierrez, upset after Baez posted intimate photos of them on Facebook, stabbed her 65 times in the back, killing her. The teenagers were students at the Autonomous University of Sinaloa. They were close friends and, like many other boys and girls, used social media to express their affection. On October 14, 2012, Baez posted a picture with her best friend Gutierrez on her Facebook page, captioning it with a loving message to honor Gutierrez on her birthday. In the message, Baez expressed her happiness about their friendship and stated that their bond was even stronger than friendship. She wrote, "You are more than that. You are my sister. And you do not know how much I appreciate that I was given the opportunity to be in your life," along with many other kind words in tribute to her best friend. Unfortunately, their friendship began to break apart about a year and a half later. Baez and Gutierrez often took selfies together, which they uploaded to various social media sites. However, in December 2013, Baez posted a photo of them hugging, smiling, and semi-naked without Gutierrez's consent. This deeply upset Gutierrez. From that moment on, the relationship between the girls deteriorated. Gutierrez began venting her anger on Twitter, where she posted violent threats. On February 5, 2014, she tweeted, "I'm going to bury you before this year ends." This was not the only disturbing message. Days later, she wrote, "I may seem very calm, but in my head, I've killed you at least 3 times." Baez dismissed these chilling threats, assuming her friend was just joking about the incident. On the day of the murder, March 19, 2014, knowing that Baez would be alone, Gutierrez called her. She said she wanted to see her to talk about the Facebook photo that had upset her so much. Baez agreed and invited her to her home in Guamuchil, Mexico. Gutierrez arrived with 2 shaved ice treats and claimed she wanted to make amends and be friends again. Baez welcomed her and invited her upstairs to her room to talk. In the midst of their conversation, Gutierrez said she needed to go to the bathroom and left the room while Baez lay on her bed watching TV. Instead of going to the bathroom, however, Gutierrez sneaked into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and hid it under a bunch of clothes. She returned to the bedroom and viciously stabbed Anel Baez over 65 times in the back, according to reports. The stabbing continued until Baez was lifeless. After killing Baez, Gutierrez tried to clean up the blood in the area and quickly escaped. Baez's body was later discovered by her family members. Initially, Gutierrez attempted to hide her involvement in Baez's death. She mourned with their mutual friends and denied knowing anything about the murder. She even attended Baez's funeral a week after the killing. While pretending to grieve during the funeral, police arrived and took her into custody. She was then charged with the murder of her former best friend. Under Mexican law, 16-year-old Erandy Gutierrez could not be charged as an adult for murder. As a result, she was charged as a minor and ultimately received a 7-year prison sentence. In response, Baez's family and friends organized a march to demand a harsher punishment for Gutierrez. However, after serving just 3 years, Gutierrez was released from prison in September 2017. She remains free today. This chilling moment, captured on CCTV, shows a woman leading her new friend, whom she had just met, back to her flat just hours before stabbing her to death. Birute Kliknelieni, 51, was sentenced to life in prison for the brutal murder of Dace Calcurti, 50, on April 15, 2022. Calcurti was stabbed 16 times and sustained 9 additional cuts, including defensive wounds to her right hand. CCTV footage from 9:55 p.m. that night showed the 2 women chatting as they walked through a park to Calcurti's flat. They had met earlier that evening while drinking with their respective partners at an allotment in the town. Police were called to the flat in Highgate just after midnight on April 16th, where they discovered Calcurti had been stabbed. She was rushed to the hospital but tragically died from a fatal stomach wound at 2:28 a.m. In a statement read in court,